Hello, this is Jennifer Falion, and currently we're working through Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. Currently we're on Chapter 3. The next section is entitled Seeing Yourself as a Child. If we were to take a 3-year-old child and put her in the middle of the room, and you or I were to start yelling at the child, telling her how stupid she was, how she could never do anything right, how she should do this and shouldn't do that, and look at the mess she made, and maybe hit her a few times, we would end up with a frightened little child who sits docilely in the corner, or who tears up the place. The child will go one of these two ways, but we will never know the potential of that child. If we take the same child and tell her how much we love her, how much we care, that we love the way she looks, and love how bright and clever she is, that we love the way she does things, and that it's okay for her to make mistakes as she learns, and that we will always be there for her no matter what, then the potential that comes out of that child will blow your mind. Each one of us has a 3-year-old child within us, and we often spend most of our time yelling at that kid in ourselves. Then we wonder why our lives don't work. If you had a friend who was always criticizing you, would you want to be around that person? Perhaps you were treated this way as a child, and that's sad. However, that was a long time ago. And if you are now choosing to treat yourself in the same way, then it's sadder still. So now, here in front of us, we have a list of the negative messages we heard as a child. How does this list correspond with what you believe to be wrong with you? Are they almost the same? Probably yes. We base our life script on our early messages. We are all good little children and obediently accept what they tell us as truth. It would be very easy just to blame our parents and be victims for the rest of our lives. But that wouldn't be much fun, and it certainly wouldn't get us out of our stuck position. So in the previous section, we did an exercise where we took 2 sheets of paper, and the first sheet of paper we wrote down all the negative messages that we had received from our parents. Negative messages, perhaps about money, love, our bodies, whatever the case may be, whatever negative messages that you heard as a child growing up. Then we took a second sheet of paper and wrote down any negative messages that we may have heard from other people in our lives, such as teachers, relatives, friends, authority figures, people from church. And so then in this section, she's talking about, okay, now we have those negative messages. We can recognize where some of our own self-criticisms have come from and say, oh, okay, now I understand where that message came from. Now I understand why I tell myself I'm not good enough. And we have to stop doing that, because inside of us is a 3-year-old child. Now, would we take a child and start yelling and berating the child and beating the child and say, oh, you're stupid, you're not good enough, you're fat, you're never going to amount to anything? I mean, think about the effect that would have on a child. Of course that child is going to have all sorts of issues. So why would we talk the same way to ourselves? Why do we allow ourselves to keep abusing, criticizing, and talking negatively to ourselves? If we truly want to succeed and have the positive life and have a good life, we have to cut it out. We have to cut it out, stop treating ourselves in an abusive manner, recognize that those negative thoughts are in the past, and today is a new day, that the power is in today. The power is now to choose a different path, to choose a different thought. And so I encourage you today, choose a different thought. Recognize where those negative thoughts came from. Okay, it's in the past, it's done with, let it go. And choose a new thought for today. You are lovable, you are good enough, and I'm glad that you're here today and joining us. Like me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I look forward to talking to you soon.